to therapy and I actually had a really... Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Or if this is your first time clicking on, hi, I'm Julia, nice to meet you. I'm giving you a big hug. And for my OG subscribers, squeezing you tight as well. So today, October 10th, is National Mental Health Day, which if you are an OG subscriber of mine, you'll know the past couple years I've kind of tried to step up about talking more openly about my mental health struggles. I don't know, I feel like when you're going through a hard time mentally, the worst thing for you at that time is feeling alone and just looking around and being like, everybody else is fine and I'm not, why is this? So that's kind of why I like to be nice and open. I have made a couple videos talking about it, so I'll link the playlist up here for you guys. But anyways, I thought I would make a video on some of my tips and tricks how to kind of just manage anxiety, because that's my main thing that I struggle with is anxiety. I've been an anxious person since I was in kindergarten. I remember my teacher's name was Mrs. Gast. She would give us a big packet on Monday with lots of work, like a week's worth of work, and say, oh, it's due on Friday, you have all week to complete it. Well, I would run home and sit there for hours and complete the whole packet on Monday because I didn't want to worry about it all week and like, oh my gosh, I gotta do my packet. And when you're young, you don't know that that's anxiety, but yeah. And I also want to say that as well, that I feel like it is very, very rare for somebody to not have some kind of mental issue, whether it's anxiety, OCD, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia. I know some of those sound like really crazy to you, but honestly, guys, there's probably so many people that you know very well, or just walking down the street that you would be like, hey, that looks like a normal person. I guarantee you that they have something going on up in their head. I always see sayings on Facebook that say something like, you know, when you're physically ill, it's normal to go to a doctor. And it's so funny. I really wish it was more normal, like when you're kind of mentally off a little bit, like to go to a therapist or go to a counselor. I don't know. Long story short, World Mental Health Day is about normalizing talking about mental health. Everybody's got it. Some people are down here and, you know, yeah, my mental health is pretty in check. Sometimes I get anxious, sometimes I get blue, or some people are way up here. Anyways, I'm going to share some tips and tricks that help me kind of manage and deal with my anxiety on a day-to-day basis. So the first thing on my list is talk about it or talk to somebody, which brings me to the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. Now, when I first got reached out to about this, there was all kinds of controversy about BetterHelp, and I was like, ooh, I kind of don't want to touch that, I'll be honest. If you guys hear noise, Jesse's with Penelope. But anyways, after doing my own personal research, I was like, you know what? I don't think this is such a bad thing. One thing is that they are not a crisis helpline, and I feel like a lot of the bad rap it gets is because people who are seriously depressed or have serious, really like, kind of I was talking like if they're way up here, BetterHelp is not really gonna help you. You need to go to a doctor, you need to go to a therapist. And that's another thing too that I learned about BetterHelp is it's not in replace of an actual therapist. Anyone you talk to from there is a licensed counselor or therapist. However, like I said, if you're way up here in your mental health, as in like bad, down here is like, oh, my mental health's under control. But if you're way up here, you need to go see an in-person therapist, or I don't know, some people like to go the medication route, but anyways, I actually tried it out myself, and some things I thought were pretty cool is there's 4 different modes of communication. So if you're somebody who, like me with my counselor, I wanted face-to-face, so I scheduled a FaceTime session. Or if you want to do over the phone, or you can even text, email. I think that is really nice because everybody has a different level of comfort when talking to somebody about personal stuff. The process of getting linked up with a counselor was really cool as well. They have a quiz, they ask you what are the major things you want to work on. Like me, I think I put like a major life change because having a baby, if you guys have been around my channel, It's not easy. Postpartum is freaking hard. So I put having a major life change, I put anxiety, and then I put like situational depression. And you can let them know if you have a preference. Like me, I preferred to have a counselor who was religious, and I put that I was Catholic. You can put that you prefer a non-religious counselor. You can put that you prefer male, female. You can ask for a gay counselor. So they have so many different brackets that you can kind of request to make you feel the most comfortable, which I thought was really, really awesome. They are available worldwide, and they can be more affordable than going to see a therapist in person. So I have gone to therapy, and I actually had a really really good therapist. She was actually my mom's therapist, so I had a little connection to her, and I don't know, she was just somebody who was an angel sent to me. So I've had therapy. My mom, actually, her major was psychology, so she helps me out a lot with my mental stuff. I also have 2 grandmothers, which if you guys have a grandmother, they are the best to talk to, and they're very wise and give really good advice. But I know my situation is not the norm. I happen to be very lucky. So for me, I probably won't use it too much just because I have so many other outlets. But why I wanted to work with them and talk about them is because I'm sure there's a lot of you out there who you have nobody. Or maybe you do have a mom or an aunt or a grandmother, but maybe they don't necessarily understand. Or maybe like me, I had a hard time opening up to family for the longest time because I didn't want to burden my problems with them. I didn't want them to worry about me. I didn't want to say something to where they're like, oh my gosh, Julia's really not in a good place, if that makes any sense. So that's why for me it was nice to go to a therapist. Now my dogs are playing. You got all kinds of background noise. Sorry guys. But anyways, talking about how you feel can help so much. I know it sounds stupid and silly, but just getting it out of your brain or out of your heart and just talking about it really helps so much. And I think BetterHelp is a great outlet for those of you who don't have anybody to listen to. And not only will you be venting to somebody trustworthy, but you'll be venting to somebody who's a licensed professional. So they'll be able to kind of pick up on little things you say and give you some good suggestions. You can send them a message anytime you want, which is really cool as well. They also have kind of like financial aid available too that you could qualify. So yeah, I will leave a link down below. It's not an affiliate code. I'm not making any money from you signing up or not signing up. I will also try and find a couple crisis helplines for you guys to link as well. That way, if you're kind of like, oh no, I am way up here, or if you're feeling suicidal or anything like that, definitely call the hotlines instead. So yeah, I know how cheesy that might come off, but again, if you guys know me in person, or if you guys are my OG subscribers, you guys know that like I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt. I took on this sponsorship because I genuinely feel like there might be people out there who need a service just like that. Okay, tip number 2 I have is to go outside. I can't tell you how much that helps. Like sometimes I'll be in my house and I'll just be like, oh, like I'll just look around and like my house looks dark, if that makes any kind of sense. I've talked about this before, but going outside just helps naturally put your brain into perspective. Focus on the trees. Look at the little tiny leaves blowing. Look at the sky. Look at the clouds. Listen. Use your senses. Hear the birds tweeting. Hear the wind. Feel the wind. Feel the wind blow in your face. Like, don't think about anything else but what you're seeing or feeling or hearing outside. It helps so much, you guys. Again, a lot of these sound really silly, and a lot of them I'm aware that when you're just really, really low, you just don't have the energy for. But do it. Make yourself go outside, whether it's your front yard, your backyard. Just make yourself go outside and just sit there and try to just concentrate on the little things. Tip number 3 is do something productive. Now, this might not be for everybody. Everybody's anxiousness is different, but for me, I start feeling anxious when I'm not productive. And I think a lot of YouTubers actually have that common anxiety where when they're anxious, they feel so much better to create, and that's kind of how I am. But if you're not into YouTubing or anything like that, clean your kitchen. Go to your junk drawer. I know everybody has a junk drawer, and just start cleaning your junk drawer. Again, it is gonna require a little bit of energy to start, and you might be like, oh, I don't feel like it, but just force yourself to start and you might start feeling better. If you don't, then hey, you tried. But for me, doing something productive always makes me feel better. Organize your closet, get a load of laundry done, which is leading up into my next tip, is to keep your space clean, which again, this might not be for everybody. And I can't believe I'm saying it works for me, because my whole life I've been a pig. And I feel like, I don't know what happened. I think once I moved out is when this shifted, but I used to be able to have my room disgusting all day, every day. But since I moved out on my own, something about like a dirty house or a lot of clutter just gives me extra anxiety. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to clean that. Oh, that's messy. I don't know. It just clutters my brain. So I know this is easier said than done, but set aside 10 minutes before you go to bed to just kind of pick up little things throughout the house, or do it first thing in the morning. My dogs are distracting me. But keeping your space somewhat clean always helps with my anxiety. Another tip is start a gratitude journal, which it can be tedious. It's like, I don't have time. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't write in this every day. And it's even harder to do it when you are having a hard time, because when you are really anxious or really down, you don't want to do anything sometimes. So again, this is something where if you can get yourself to do it, I swear it helps. So this one, my friend Kendra, hi K-Dog if you're watching, actually got this for me. And I love it. I don't know where she got it, but it says, today I am grateful for, and then it says I'm looking forward to, and favorite part of the day. And those three in particular really help me a lot. So you don't need a fancy journal. Go to TJ Maxx or Ross, get yourself, like, this is a pretty journal that I use to take notes in. I could use this if I didn't have my gratitude journal. But try to aim for every day to write 3 things you're grateful for, something you're looking forward to, and then at the end of the day, go back on that page and just write your favorite part of the day. I know it can be a lot of work, but if you can get yourself to do it solidly for at least a week, you will start feeling better, I promise. Another thing I talk about all the time is self-care. It really does help. One thing for me personally is I like lighting candles that smell good for me. I feel like lighting a candle and having candles is self-care, because you're just making the atmosphere nice for yourself. So like for me, this is my optimum season for candles. I love pumpkin spice candles, or Christmas time, I love fresh balsam. It's a little bit harder for me in the spring and summer because I'm not crazy about summer smells, but long story short, whatever smell is your favorite, go to Ross, find a candle, or just go through and just smell a bunch of candles. Smell them. Whatever candle makes you feel happy, buy it and light it for yourself if you're feeling a little anxious. You can do a hair mask, you can do a face mask, you can do your nails. If you have cash to spare, go get them done. When you feel good about yourself, it just automatically makes you feel better. Another thing is music. So one thing that I do is if I'm having a hard time or like not in a good mental space, I will listen to music from when I was in high school. Like that sounds so stupid and silly and very probably not the popular opinion, but I had such a good time in high school. I had no worries. I mean, I had worries, like I played a lot of sports and I had a lot of responsibility. I worked, but I just, in the grand scheme of things, it was so much fun. So I will go and like look up on YouTube. I graduated in 2011, but I think my favorite years were maybe like my sophomore and junior year. So I'll look up 2009, 2008 playlists and just listen to music from that time when I was carefree, and it just, it like puts things into perspective where it's like, okay, no, like I'm fine, this is great. Or just put on any kind of music that makes you feel good. If you're in a rut, start a new habit. As soon as you wake up, put on some music and just have it, okay, I'm gonna try to speed this up, but have it playing throughout the day. It really will help your anxiety. Another one is if you have pets, love them. If you have a dog, just look at them and just, they're sitting there waiting for you to love them. Pet them. One thing I feel like were animals that I've always had, they know when you're not feeling the hottest and they want to help you. Like they just, I don't know. I've always heard that dog spelled backwards is God, and they are such just full of unconditional love creatures. Cats I know can be kind of a-holes sometimes, but if it's your pet, they love you no matter what, even if they give you attitude. So love on them, take them for a walk, cuddle with them. If they don't like to cuddle, talk to them, they'll listen to you. I don't know, animals always make you feel better. Another one is hug somebody, which if you know me in person or if you've been around my channel as well, you guys know like I'm a hugger. When I first meet somebody, I hug them, I don't shake their hand. And for me, it's been like kind of like a culture thing, like most of my family does that. But as I've gotten older and I've read articles that hugging genuinely releases a hormone that fights depression. So if you have somebody in your house and you're not feeling good, just go up to them and say, hey, I really need a hug. And tell them, I want a solid 10 to 15 second hug, and I'm sure they'd be happy to give it to you. If you live by yourself, go out, buy you a cute little stuffed animal, and you just hug that stuffed animal when you need a hug. But it really does help you feel better. The next one, again, might not be for everybody, but if you do believe in God, pray. And if you don't, that's totally fine as well. You guys know me. I don't care what or who you believe in. I'm just on team believe in something, you know, karma, Buddha, the universe. But just throw your hands up and ask for help. That's probably the thing that has helped me the most with my mental health struggles is I'll get so bad to the point where like I have no other choice but to, okay, I know this is silly, but help me. I don't know how you can help me. I don't know what I need, but I do need your help right now. Again, it sounds silly and stupid, but I swear it works for me every single time. It may not work right away, but when I do that, the next day I always have a much better day. And the last thing is, if everything I mentioned did not work, sometimes you're not gonna feel better. And you have to just accept it and acknowledge like, hey, I'm anxious today. I'm not feeling so hot today. I've tried A, B, C, D, and E and nothing's working. It's just making me more anxious, which that happens sometimes. Sometimes the more I try to not be anxious, the more anxious I get. And that's one thing within the past couple months I'm trying to really learn is to just not necessarily be okay with not being okay, but just accept, hey, I'm not okay right now. I've tried to help myself. Nothing's working. So I'm just gonna sit here and say, I'm not okay. One thing I can tell you for a fact is you will never stay the same. Unfortunately, when you're going through happy times, it's not gonna be happy all the time. Well, it's the same with being low. You're not gonna feel low forever. So just say, I'm low, I'm in the hole, I tried getting out, I can't get out, so I'm just gonna sit here and play in the dirt because eventually I'll get out of the hole. Having that mindset can help so much sometimes as well. So anyways, this video is probably long enough, but I really hope this helped somebody. I hope you got at least one tip. And if you have any other ones that I did not mention, please comment them down below. Maybe you can help somebody else. And if you did get a good tip, like this video and also let me know which tip helped you out if you feel like doing that in the comment section. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to listen to me ramble, and catch you guys in my next video.